Welcome to News AF. I am a co-host, Tyson. Rob, no longer with us still.
Whoa, that sounds like he's passed.
Yeah, I
No
know that.
longer with us.
Whenever you're gone, Vascular D, I always do the same thing. I always say RIP until you're back here. So it's just an ongoing thing as I phrase it in a way that makes people think that you've passed on to the nether life. Is that what we call it?
Different dimension.
Different dimension. We're here with it's me, Tyson Apostol. It's Danny Bryson, and it's Brandon Donlon, who also goes by something B.
Oh yeah, what do we call him? Like Flying Fury of
No,
B?
it was Vascular D, and do you remember?
It was Fast Killer B.
Fast Killer B.
Pretty good.
Fast Killer
Yeah,
B.
Fast
Pretty
Killer
good.
B, because it's like vascular. Get it? Sounds
Yeah.
good the same.
I was just telling Fast Killer B about
Yeah?
my flight across the Atlantic, Zurich to JFK, sat next to the lavatory, and got a lot of butt touching, inadvertent butt touching in.
You were in the fart zone?
You're in the fart zone. Yes, I was in the fart zone. And this is the worst part. There was a guy who had something wrong with him. Or
There's lots of guys with something wrong with them.
Or he just loved looming over me, because 10 times he went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And every time
you counted 10? Like
well,
legit
at first
10.
I'm like, this is the same guy. I think legit 10.
Okay.
I started counting a little late, but it was about 10. So this guy would go to the bathroom, and it was one of those weird bathrooms where instead of the bathroom being next to the partition wall, the bathroom was a little bit ahead of it. So my row and another row were right there next to the door. And every time this guy would go to the bathroom, he would have to wait. And when he would wait, the position he chose to wait in was he'd rest his elbow on the back of the seat in front of me, face his body towards me, and kind of lean over me. I mean, like, you couldn't be more in my space unless you were laying on top of me. He would almost rest his crotch on my armrest. Like, I would have to take my arm off the armrest. And I just thought, dude, why? Why are you doing this? And then he would sneeze, and I would feel real or just in my mind the mist of his
nightmare.
sneeze, like a shower. I almost lost my mind.
Why didn't you just be like, hey, this seems like you're liking my seat more than your own. Where do you sit? I'll trade you.
And then when people would pass by, he could have moved like into a better area where they kind of like crammed himself.
No, but why would he do that?
Why would you do that? So either he would hip thrust into my direction to give more space behind him, or he would step back, and then the people passing by would then rub their butt so hard against my seat, it would like scrape my armrest, hit the seat in front of me. It was just a brutal 8 hours, and it never ended. And I thought, this guy is not real. This guy is not real. Because
you thought you were getting pranked?
No, must be a simulation. No one, and I mentioned this just when I was talking about it, no one could be this lacking in self-awareness. It's just like, how could you not feel the invasion of, I'm leaning like this, you know?
Why didn't you elbow him in the dick or something, dude?
Oh, good old dong elbow.
Yeah.
Start a fight. Because I'd be the aggressor. It was like, you can't win. This guy elbowed me in the dong, and so I bit his head, because that probably would have been his move.
Okay.
He seems like the kind of person that would bite in a reprisal attack.
Well, what does he look like?
I never looked him directly in the eyes.
You've never, this is a ghost person.
Yeah, I had a general sense of his look. Right? I knew his shoes. He had some dad shoes on, some jeans. I stared at those a lot.
Yeah. Well, Mel in the chat wants you to do your next Danny adventure on a subway.
Oh, by the way, I don't need to go on a subway. I did a lot of public transportation, which just sucks. Just like not convenient, takes twice as long. And in Switzerland, I was there for 2 weeks.
Rebuttal?
No.
It's so hot. It was so hot in June in Switzerland. Everyone was sweaty. I was sweaty. It was just a nightmare. A nightmare. For those people who have to do it every day, I have to say, I learned sympathy.
My move when I'm having somebody with the low self-awareness, as you did, I like to
Mhm.
look at somebody else and see if they're noticing it and make
So
like,
Yes.
you can
like, did you do that on the flight?
Who would
yeah,
I
did
look
you
at? The girl next to me, I don't even know what her deal was. She was acting weird too. She was really fine with like elbowing me and having her blanket be also on me.
oh my
And
god.
so she would not have been someone
Nobody
who
across
gave
the
me a
aisle you could
sympathetic
lock
look.
eyes with and be like, "Get a load of this guy."
No, they were watching Survivor, Heroes
Mm,
versus Villains, and were
mhm.
totally locked in on that. So they weren't even
Makes
looking
sense.
over at me.
Yeah.
It was just me. I was an island in a sea of people on a plane
Ah,
traveling through the air.
jeez, dude.
It
I
was tough.
I think my move would have either been to say something, like, "Oh, do you have enough space on my chair?" Or, um,
Dude, you have prostate cancer. It's probably what I should have said. Like, you need to see a
yeah,
doctor
you
right
should get
away.
that checked out. And
Or are
or
you pooping blood? Because 10 times, by that point, the wiping alone has
there's not
generated
poop coming
a
out
blood
anymore.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pure blood. It's
It's
pure straight blood.
what
It's
percentage
yeah.
now of your excrement is just blood? I need to know because 10 times, no matter which hole it's coming out of, is a bad sign.
Or I'm looking at the people who are watching Survivor and being like, "Hey, guys, get a load of this guy. He's, like, way into my personal space and doesn't
Yeah.
understand boundaries."
No,
Yeah.
they were both locked in, just like watching Survivor.
Dang. Well, we're glad you're back, Danny, and,
Mm.
after a story like that, we wonder why you travel so much.
I wonder the exact same thing. I'm like, never again.
Because
Maybe
that's
it's
partly
time.
why I don't travel as much as I used to. Because I used to love traveling, and now I don't, and it's
Middle class
airport
traveling,
yeah,
middle
well,
class travel is like gives the illusion that you're going to be comfortable, but you're not. You're not as uncomfortable as the people in the back, but you're also not really that comfortable.
yeah. Well, and I mostly travel at the front of the plane now, and it's still not that great.
No.
That's the thing they don't tell you is it's not good anywhere on the plane. That, like,
No.
No,
unless you're in one of the Emirates, like you have an apartment on the plane,
Yes.
it's not good like
Yeah,
ever.
exactly, exactly.
And then they wanna do those stacked seats where basically your face is in someone's butt. Have you
Mhm.
seen those seats? I know
Yeah,
they always talk
no.
about it. Probably this is the thing, the airline strategy. They're like, "We could put these seats in our plane, but we're not because we value you guys a lot." And so every now and then they throw out an article about these seats that are like standing
Yeah,
or
they're
half
like,
standing.
"We can fit 2 more seats on this plane." And
Yeah.
it's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
buddy."
And you have to pay to bring stuff in onto the plane in your pockets. The
Yeah.
pocket fee.
Yeah,
And
the
it's like,
pocket fee now.
Is that
Now you
real? Is the
yeah,
pocket fee real?
it
yeah.
probably is.
Now they check to see if you have a wallet in your front pocket, and then they charge you $50.
Yeah, to bring things onto the plane in your pockets.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
really the next move, if you're gonna pay for checked bagging and all
Mhm.
of this bagging, is just to have huge cargo pants, like, with
Well,
tons of pockets.
yeah, that is smart. That's really smart, dude.
mhm.
Okay, well, let's get into our stories here
Yeah, let's
after
do it.
that, rant about public transportation and how it's not all it's cracked up to be, apparently.
No.
We, um, you don't think that this guy was the fake dentist in, the Czech Republic who was giving root canals after reading online instructions?
Um, Best place for instructions. Actually, YouTube
Yeah,
is
why
the
would you
place for
read?
instructions.
That's what was puzzling me was, like, he got online and read the instructions. Why can't you just watch a YouTube tutorial?
Yeah.
22-year-old. That's the first red flag. You go in, you see a 22-year-old, you're like, you're not even old enough to have spent enough
Yeah.
time in dentistry school.
Can I have the adult? And he's like, "I'm actually 42. I have great skin."
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. That's
let
the
me
point
see
where you're
your
like,
license."
"Okay." Actually, I would fall for that. I'd be like, "Damn, dude, this guy's got it all going on. He knows
Yeah,
exactly what we
forget
need."
my root canal. What's your skin routine?
Yes.
They
Yes.
they say that you should, the doctors now, like the kids who just are now doctors, who just graduated, or like that's who you want. But I don't want any professional who's like 2 generations below me. I want an old archaic
Yes.
person.
Yes, that's how I am. It's even with, like,
Mm,
when a policeman stops me on the
I
road
don't
and he's
agree.
like, "Sir, do you know how fast you were going?" I'm like, "You're 25. Get out of my face."
Here's the advantage of young people. I had a young dermatologist. So I've gone to 3 or 4 dermatologists in the past like 5 years,
For
right?
what?
Just checkups. The
Okay.
thing with the younger dermatologist was I felt she was more aware of current practices and ideas,
Yes.
whereas the
No,
old
that's
ones are like reading from their stained yellow notepad that they had 30 years ago at school and like, according to my notes from 1975, you need to drink a glass of milk and hang upside down for 10 minutes while burning sage or whatever weird old-timey thing, right? Whereas the new person's like, no, this is what we found out. This is new technology. There are advantages to the young.
no, I agree. I think that's what Brandon was saying is that's why you take the young because they have all that. Plus they probably have like they don't have the shakes and stuff yet. Um,
I saw I don't even know what the word is, gastroenterologist. I had bad reflux for a while.
Okay.
And I went in
thanks
and
for
he
your
was
honesty.
and this is I wanted to be vulnerable when we
Yeah,
got here.
thank
So
you
that's
for your
Yeah, naturally.
vulnerability.
That's what kind of podcast this is.
he was I mean, and I'm not I could Google it. Like we can find his name. 98 years old minimum.
No, way
Had a
too old.
walker
He was
and
like, take
Yeah.
some turmeric and ginger root.
Yeah, he's like, here's a piece of hard candy. Did you know I started my career on horses at Jimmy John's stables? And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
veterinarian before I ever worked on humans. That's too old.
was too old. He
Hey.
saw the invention of reflux. He was there ground floor.
Yeah,
Is
he was like,
and
he's like, I've always believed this was a made up ailment.
Yeah. We didn't know that gases came from the body. We thought that it had to do something with evil spirits.
So, are you going back to this guy, or was this
well, my reflux thankfully is better, but he's the one who did like I got an endoscopy where they put the camera all the way down and go around, but he had a steady enough hand for that. I woke up
All
fine,
right,
you know?
kudos to that guy. I want to be that
you
guy.
woke up fine. You were asleep. You don't know what happened.
They could have never done the endoscopy. That is true. They could have not done it.
Yeah.
There's no proof.
Yeah, you look
I want to
fine.
be 90 and have a sturdy enough hand to put things into people. That would be
Is that
a
your new
sign that
goal?
I've aged well. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, you were
Yeah.
really good at putting that thing inside me. You've got steady hands. I'd be like, thank
So
you.
this guy, 22 years old, 2 assistants, and they've just been, you know, giving root canals out of their home for
Okay, hold on. Why is there
2
no
years.
about who these assistants are?
They're
Aren't
part of
they-
his family. They're family members.
Oh, it's a family.
Yeah, so it's
business.
a 3-pack. So it's just like me and Bergen and Marlo just were like, hey, we're doing root canals over at our house. Go ahead and knock on the back door. We'll let you in. He has extracted teeth, performed complex root canals, and applied anesthesia, drawing on information he had obtained online.
How did he obtain anesthesia? Is my
Yeah,
question.
that's interesting. That part is actually the most dangerous part.
Probably a Mexican airport.
Sure.
Just the airport?
Well, you go to the Mexican airport and you go to the pharmacy in Mexico in the airport and you can just buy whatever you want, just like horse testosterone and all that shit.
Oh, wait. Tell me more about this horse testosterone.
Go to Mexico
Do I
and just
inject
go
it
to the
between my
pharmacy. I don't know
toenails?
what you do. They have it all for sale there, though, in the airport.
I
So,
bet the dark web sells
yeah,
this stuff.
they probably do.
It's interesting, the anesthesia. That's intense. That's not something you want to mess around with.
Mm-mm.
I mean, unless it's like they say anesthesia, but if it was some other, it's not the kind you get at the hospital. It's like, I don't know, some Bulgarian drug mix.
The illegal clinic treated dozens of patients and made
Dozens.
4 million Czech koruna, which
Sounds
is
like a lot.
Nope.
Okay.
Less than $200,000 over the course of however many years they were doing this. And it does say that one of the assistants was in the health sector.
Okay, so he wasn't going in completely.
So she was
blind.
getting this stuff somehow, yeah.
Sure.
And so she was the connection to getting the stuff. But it seems like, and I'm just going to put this out there. I don't know what everybody's expectations are when they go to a dentist. Don't do it at someone's house. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
My dentist in New Jersey
is out of the house.
Oh, it's a converted house. It looks like a house from the outside, but then you go in and it's a dentist office. But if you go in a house and it appears
To be
to
a
be a
house?
house. That's
I,
bad.
I bet they had dogs in this house too. Can you imagine getting your teeth worked on with dogs around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, this leads us to our next story.
Ooh,
So, going to the dentist is great. Keeping your mouth clean is great,
yes.
especially as you get old. You don't want to get that old man person
Well,
smell.
you've talked about your old teeth and complained a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
months ago.
but one of my greatest fears is that I smell like an old man and don't know that I smell like an old man, and nobody tells me. And then I go
Mm.
on a reality TV show, and every single person in their confessionals is like, Tyson smells like an old man. And that
Yeah.
comes from either you get old man stink breath, you just permeate old man. I don't know what it is. But this article says why old people smell happens and the superfood you can eat to help prevent it.
So I heard, Tyson, before you jump into this, I
Yeah.
used to wonder why at church all the old ladies were smell maxing, like maximum perfume,
Mhm.
so
Is that
strong.
called
I
smell
mean,
maxing?
well, that's what they call it now. That's what teens
Mhm.
are doing. But
Okay.
old ladies were doing it in the 80s and 90s. And
With the
I used to
rose
just think like
perfume.
this is chemical warfare, like soft chemical warfare.
Yeah.
They are like creating a space around them free of people because the stench is so strong. I had heard, and maybe this is part of this, that your ability to smell deteriorates as you get older.
You
And so
sure.
these old ladies were like, didn't know. And obviously, no one in their friendship circle or family circle were willing to tell them, you need to tone it down. And actually, I know people in my life, not my family members, but others, who are using so much cologne that it honestly is, it's got to be toxic. Just the amount. And that he's probably this person I'm thinking of, probably trying to avoid an old person's smell,
Yeah.
but isn't able to regulate how much he's using the countermeasures. And
But
so it's actually worse.
anything is better than old person smell.
The
Yeah.
smell of a slowly decaying living human or the
Yeah.
smell of cologne blasted out at full maximum. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We all know what old people smell like, right? Like you go to an old
Mm.
person's home, it all smells the same. You go to your
Like damp carpet
well, here's what they
That's
say.
great.
and sadness.
Here's what they say. It's the stench of death. They call it the du elderly. It's characterized by top notes of mothballs and wet cardboard, coupled with
Whoa,
basement
white cardboard.
expired canned goods and dead leaves.
Okay, none of those things are on their body though. Are they just absorbing all of these
No,
smells and then
so
taking them out with them?
They smell like the furniture in their home. Like they smell like
Mhm.
decaying furniture is what I feel like
Nope.
carpet on the money.
Wrong again, everybody.
Oh,
Old people's smell comes from lipid peroxidation on top of the skin. You don't have enough antioxidants, the smell builds up, and because we don't get a lot of cellular turnover as we age,
oh, it is rotting
lingers.
flesh.
So it's the top, layer of skin, and so they're saying
It's
that
rotting like bad milk.
more and not rotting, it's peroxidation,
No, that's what it's saying.
lipid
No.
peroxidation.
No, listen, they say basically you're not getting cellular turnover, right? How your skin cells are regenerating and probably
Well,
shedding like a snake. They're
yeah.
not shedding anymore. Their snake skin is
Correct.
staying
And there's
on.
no way to get you to shed, but what you can do is you can stop that peroxidation by eating some superfood that we haven't found out about yet. I've got to keep going through the article, but I think part of old people's smell is that they don't floss their teeth enough. Because
Mhm.
have you ever like not flossed your teeth for like a week or 2 or
No,
39 days?
never. That's gross. Oh, well, yeah.
And then flossed your teeth and the floss smells like old people. That's the
Sure.
thing. So what I'm telling the listeners is one way to avoid smelling like an old person is to floss regularly.
And saying mushrooms, Tyson. I'm seeing mushrooms as a countermeasure
Oh God,
to
it's
old
almost not
person
worth
rot.
it. It's almost not worth it.
Really?
Eating
Mushrooms are great.
Are they?
I
Yeah,
want
I
to like
love
mushrooms so
mushrooms.
bad. I don't think I'm into mushrooms.
Yeah, I want to like mushrooms too because they do have benefits, but I also can't. Yeah.
I just raw dogged some mushrooms just a couple days ago, and
You just
just the
ate raw cold
texture.
mushrooms?
Yeah, just the texture alone is quite pleasant.
Jeez, you're a psychopath, dude.
Yeah, but I smell great for a psychopath.
Well, you
No,
don't
that's
have
true.
old man smell.
Nope.
Does this imply that the old man smell gets worse up until death? Like if you're in
Yeah.
Target and you really get hit with it, that person's got weeks left, if not days.
Oh, no, I don't think that. I mean, he just hasn't eaten any mushrooms. I don't know if I think per person, yeah, per that smell does build and build and build until, but who's to say like what levels? Because maybe someone who's got 20 years left stinks as bad as someone who's dying. And like, I don't think that
Look, you can smell bad at any age.
you can smell bad at any age. Yeah. But
Yeah.
lipid peroxidation is definitely a unique smell. So
Have you ever, Danny, like sat next to a smelly guy on a plane? Has that happened to you?
Yeah, the other day, actually, what was this? I think when I went to Washington State, I couldn't tell if he smelled like sweat or me. It was one of those things where I kept smelling my armpits. I'm like, that is not me. Someone else is putting out quite a pungent odor. And so I just assigned it to one of my seatmates because I
Yeah,
kept smelling my
medically.
own armpit. And I was like, that's not me. So someone else.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try and eat more mushrooms, even if I have to take them in
They're
capsule
great.
form or something.
Oh, by the way, they recommend shiitake and
Yeah.
oyster shrooms are the best.
Okay.
In addition to helping us smell more like spring chickens, mushrooms have been shown to slow cancer progression, lower blood pressure, improve insulin resistance, shield against brain damage, and keep
Ugh.
bones healthy.
Dude, whenever it's like this food is good for this, but also, and then they list anything where it helps even the smallest percentage. It's like helps with ED, clears up the brain, gives you better eyesight. It's like, yeah, it might do all those things, but I need to
Yeah.
know how effective it is. Like, is it like
Mhm.
just,
Oh, it needs to give you a percentage.
yeah, because, yeah, of course, it helps with all those things, but how much does it help? Like,
Hmm.
nothing, it just says this helps with your skin rot for old people.
Yeah.
Like, but also it helps your toenails, it helps your eyelashes, it gives you a girthier hair. I mean, it's always a long
Girthier
list.
hair.
Yeah, good girthy hair.
I also want to people are asking about the mushrooms and stuff, and Danny's saying shiitake and oysters. That's what's pictured in the pictures. That's not oh yeah, it does say that.
My
All
kids,
mushrooms aid and abet smelling more like a spring breeze than a caved in root cellar.
Mhm.
Shiitake and oyster shrooms are the best for nutrient delivery.
when I was in
Okay.
Switzerland, I had a teaching moment with my kids.
Ooh.
They were under the impression that all mushrooms were edible, and I had to tell them that
Where would they
nay.
learn that?
I don't know. They just thought you could eat any mushroom.
Just
And I was
off the
like,
ground. They just been
whoa,
living there. Your like 18-year-old son has just been picking mushrooms out of the front lawn, eating them.
just grazing in the woods off of
Jeez.
fauna and flora.
It is.
No,
It's a cruel thing for the ultimate creator to have done. Where like some of them are edible and some of them are not edible, and
Hell,
some of them will like
Klarna.
make you trip balls. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, there's really variation in what you can do with the mushroom.
that keeps things exciting.
It really
Yeah.
does. And also it's like if Danny hadn't taught his kids that, and then you see like a headline like 18-year-old boy hospitalized for eating just thinking you could eat any mushroom off the ground, and we would be like, oh, that's natural selection. I guess his parents didn't teach him very well. And all of a sudden it's Danny's kid. Danny.
Yeah. First of all, he's not 18, but yes,
Okay.
well, here's the thing. No one told me. It was just one of those things that as you got older, you begin to understand like, oh, there are mushrooms that will poison you.
No, it's not
And-
even like that. It's you watch like a cartoon or a movie where they're like, can't eat all the mushrooms, and also there's quicksand and lava flow and earthquakes. You're like,
Okay,
okay, that's the
what-
big four.
What movie are you watching that's heavy on the intel on mushrooms?
I mean,
All I knew growing up was that mushrooms could make you high. So I was
Yeah.
in the impression under the impression that tons of mushrooms, if you ate them, licking frogs and eating mushrooms guaranteed to get you high.
okay.
I think this is a benefit for raising your children as picky eaters because I saw many mushrooms outside, and I would never go for that because it's not.
Yeah.
Never.
They don't sell it in a Happy Meal, so I had no interest
Yeah,
in eating it.
yeah, that's
Um,
smart. Make them
yeah.
picky.
Picky eaters. We're not all we're cracked up to be. What did you say? I liked your line about being cracked up to be. We are all that we're cracked up to be, us picky eaters.
Yeah.
I feel good
great.
about that.
Yeah, they love bread. My kids, my oldest just loves bread. That's pretty much all she'll eat.
All kinds of bread?
Yeah, any variant of bread, like pizza crust, breadsticks,
Yeah, bread's great.
toast. Yeah, she loves it all. Okay, well, I am actually going to look into figuring out how to avoid old man stench for as long as possible, because that really is one of my greatest fears. I do not want to smell like an old person without somebody. Like Brandon, you're younger than both of us.
Sure.
If you're around us at an event,
Do we smell like old man? You got to tell us.
You have to tell us.
Yeah.
Can
I'll bring
you?
Axe body spray, and then
Nope.
I'll just douse you.
No,
You know what I
I
mean?
don't want that. I just want you to say, "Hey, Tyson, your lipids are peroxidating, and
Hard.
they're peroxidating so hard." Something like that. Just a notification, and then I'll use something better than Axe body spray.
You don't want Axe.
I don't want Axe.
That's fine, because
Just
you don't
eat
want to
more
smell like you're
mushrooms.
14.
Axe brings me trauma from when I was a cyclist in Europe, because you'd go into the changing room after the bike race, shower off, and then every single cyclist in there would be like
And
two bottles.
The way to apply it is to create a cloud.
You create a cloud and then get through the cloud, and every single dude at the same time, all 200 cyclists would create their cloud and walk through it at the same time.
Sure.
And
People don't talk enough about how loud Axe is to apply. Especially, it's like a symphony when 200 guys are all doing it at the same time.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like an
It
orchestra.
really is. Yeah. It's if I'd ever have to be disguised as a 14-year-old boy, as an old man,
why would you want that?
I'm like
sound good.
I'm like 21 Jump Street, go into like a junior high to try and figure out the crime.
Yeah.
You know, and ends up
I
being
think
one
that'd be
of the
fun.
teachers.
I think you'd be great at that.
Thank you, fellow young kid.
I'd be fooled. Like, oh my God, this 14-year-old kid's crazy, you know?
Yeah. That's I would be crazy. I would be crazy smart. Okay, let's get to it. Man finds out he was married without his knowledge. His ex-girlfriend got arrested. So I think this is a play that people can do. It sounds like this woman somehow got married to her boyfriend without him knowing.
Felony charge.
Do you think he got drunk and they were just like, okay, you're married? Or do you think she like found some loophole?
I wonder if he had to sign. I feel like you need a legal signature for such a thing.
So it sounds like they were in the process of a real marriage, but then broke up near the completion of that process. And that she just finalized the paperwork and sent it in. That's kind of what I'm getting. So maybe she did have to use his signature.
Well, here's this. A 36-year-old Texas woman is being held on felony stalking charges in a bizarre case where a wedding was held without the groom present and without his knowledge. So by proxy, is that a new thing where, like, let's say I avoid old man stench and then I just hire myself out by proxy to get married to women for other men that they want to be married to without, like, could you do this to like Brad Pitt? All of a sudden I'm married to Brad Pitt. Like,
well, she had to convince a pastor,
okay.
So maybe this guy should consider another line of work to certify the marriage without the groom being present. So that was kind of like the thing that finalized the marriage.
I wonder what that conversation, like, I wonder, she's like, oh, he'll be right here. He's in traffic. Can you, please?
Look, this is what God wants us to be married. So why are we getting hung up on details like him being present? He signed some of the paperwork. He's got diarrhea. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he's in the bathroom.
He's in the bathroom right now, pooping his guts out. Just sign it, and then we can,
Okay, so they'd gotten a marriage license.
Yeah.
But not had a wedding. And then he just had a package show up to his house that included a copy of a marriage certificate showing he was married to her.
Oh, imagine the disappointment in his face when he opened that up.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to get in the mail. The mail's supposed to be fun. You
No,
go to
it's
the
not.
mail.
You think it's fun. You're young, Brandon. You're young. Probably there is fun stuff in there.
I'm
It's
only ever
only
getting
bills.
birthday cards. You know what I
It's
mean?
only bills.
Yeah.
When there's a certain age you get where like a good day is going to the mailbox and there's nothing. You're like, fuck.
The worst thing is when the mailman comes up to your door, because that's never a good sign.
Really? That means it's too big for the mailbox. I think that's
because he needs to have it signed. He needs it certified that you have received that mail. And so him showing up at the door, which probably in this case didn't happen, but no mail is ever good mail. Nothing exciting comes through the mail. It's all junk, bills, or court summons or jury duty.
Yeah.
They're not sending like
there's almost nothing
exciting. There's nothing good ever happens in the mail.
There is nothing good in the mail.
I wish my mailbox was also an incinerator. Like you put it in, he would shut it. It would be incinerated. I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That would be exciting.
Man. But if it's like a birthday card from grandma or something.
No, that doesn't have mail.
Or a marriage certificate, I guess.
None of that. I get nothing. I literally I walked out to the mailbox yesterday and there wasn't anything in it. And I was like, yes. But
nice
then
work.
I was like, maybe Rachel already got the mail. Oh. Shit. And you never know. That's the thing is it's one of those things that's just kind of looming all day. You're like, I wonder what money someone's going to ask me for today. And you go in, they're like, hey, you got to pay your mortgage.
What 500-page Big Five coupon book or whatever am I going to get today?
Yeah.
Seriously, the coupon thing. I get so many coupons through the mail.
Well, that's the thing is U.S. Postal Service has not been turning a profit or making any money. They've been losing money. And so what they do is they just fill it up with spam and charge those spam
absolutely.
people.
Yeah.
And so literally I'll get days where it's just spam. And I was like, wouldn't you save more money by not driving to my house for this?
Yeah.
Well, no, that's how they're keeping the doors open. It's
sure.
agreeing to take the spam.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate the spam. It's like
it seems like it would be easier to just not go. Like, hey, Thursday, no more mail.
Yeah, sometimes the mailman just chuck the whole thing into the woods.
Yeah, that's better.
Those are stories that happen occasionally.
Yeah, I would like that.
Hey, man, I haven't been getting my coupon booklets. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, there's like 5,000 pounds of coupons in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a story about a high school. These kids are not in the woods. 15 sets of twins are graduating from one New York high school. That's like twins high school. You know how in where I grew up in Utah, they had Mother's High, where if you were a high schooler with a child, you could go to this high school and they had daycare and stuff and taught you also about how to be a parent as well as high school curriculum. And this must be, I'm assuming just by the headline, it's a high school just for twins, but what do you need to learn as a twin that you don't need to what is happening? Do you think it's something in the water?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of awesome 3 Mile Island. It is New York. 3 Mile Island leakage led to twins.
Yes.
Or maybe this is statistically absolutely possible.
I mean, there's 500 students in the graduating class. 30 of those are twins.
It feels like a lot.
It still feels like a lot. Yeah. Still feels like a lot.
I like the idea of the twins exclusive school. I think that's where we do the 21 Jump Street operation is you guys go in as twins in the twins high school.
Yes, because look at this. They're not identical twins. Their students are all fraternal twins.
Isn't that Arnold and DeVito? Didn't they have a twin thing?
Yeah.
They're like, Tyson's Arnold, I'm DeVito. Mm-hmm. And we're like, they're like, you guys don't look the same. Like, no, but we're twins.
Yeah. That's what this is. That's exactly what this is. And how come none of them are identical twins?
What are their grade point averages? Are they similar? There's lots of studies we could be doing here.
They're all back to back in the graduating class. That would be crazy too.
That would be cool.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Would it be cool to be a twin? Or would you always feel like that was a huge part of your identity? And you'd be like, I'm sick of it.
Well,
I'm being a twin guy.
I'm pretty close with my brother. I think I'd be fine with being
not the same though. Twins seem to love it, right? They love, hey, we're twins.
We can share clothes.
Our hair's the same. We've even kissed each other's boyfriends. Girlfriends. And it's like, I think that they love it, but looking at it from not being a twin, and outside the twin world, I'm like, that seems like horrible because now the rest of your life, you are known as a twin first and then a rocket engineer second.
My girlfriend is a twin.
Oh,
And
and
when we don't live near her sister.
Have you made out with her twin unbeknownst to you?
only identical twins.
Sure,
That's mostly
they're
what I'm talking
fraternal.
about.
So the answer there is I have not, but now it's like a fun fact because like Devin, my girlfriend, will meet people and be like, oh, I'm a twin. It's like, if you grow up in the same town and you live in the same town, then it's you guys are together.
That's what I'm saying. It's your
know.
main identity. It's like I'm a twin, but I cured cancer, and they're like, oh, you're a twin. That's really interesting. Would your other twin live near here? I mean, do they feel the pain when you have pain?
Yeah. It sucks. Have you seen the videos where it'll be like two adult men and they're twins, and then they'll have one of their kids like try to discern who's their dad, and they can't get it right? That's a bummer. I imagine that can't feel good.
Yeah, right. You're like, all that work I put into this stupid kid, and he can't even tell.
Yeah.
I'm not even putting out my dad vibe. I do have twins in my family, but you would not know they were twins. They're total opposites.
They say in this article that there's other high schools that have had large sets of twins, and like last year, a middle school in suburban Boston had 23 sets of twins.
Oh, well, this story is stupid.
But then
delete.
No, but like I'm just wondering. Like, so you graduate and the school board calls up, is like, how many twins did you have in this graduate? To the principal, he's like, I don't know. I got to look real quick. And that's like the only metric they're measuring now to like come out with articles.
It's like
weird.
To get funding, they're like, what's your testing scores? Don't care. How many twins do you have?
Yeah, how many twins?
That's where all the money is.
Twins. We have to report this.
This is one journalist like beat that they do. This is all they cover.
He's on the twin beat. Any twin related story, like tons of great twin crimes.
Yes,
right? That's always the thing. Is
yes,
like,
and the two fat twins on the motorcycles.
Yeah, I remember them. Circus twins was probably a huge thing 100 years ago, right?
Yeah, if you're a twin, you either have to do the circus thing or the fat motorcycle thing or crime. I think you have to pick one of the three.
Your avenues are limited. Like, what can you do as a twin? It's like, well, obviously, you're probably can't do the circus thing as much anymore. But
I guess
those others are available.
You can. The circus is still going. There's just no animals anymore. It's just all humans.
Just all twins.
It's humans and a robo dog. They have one of those robo dogs.
Come see the bearded lady twins.
Yeah, that would be rad. I would see that.
If we can, if you're a listener and you know bearded lady twins, we would like to make, we can bring them to events and stuff.
That would be cool for RHAP events.
I think for News AF, we'll do our own
News
event.
AF. Yes, we have done our own event in the past. We should do that again. That was a lot of fun.
We could build out our own circus.
Yes.
When you're in high school, it's all about the Swedish twins.
Is it?
Oh yeah, dude. Sweet twins. It'd be awesome.
Is that?
You don't remember that joke?
No.
Maybe that wasn't a joke where you guys were, but we had lots of Swedish twins.
You guys were up on the hill over lording down.
Yeah, the ideas of Swedish twins were more likely in my financial
high school
situation than where you live, Tyson, down at the bottom feeders.
Did you go to the same high school? I'm gathering no.
No, he went up to the fancy one up on the hill where all the rich kids went. It was the largest gap of disparity there.
Yeah, we knew where Sweden was.
Yeah,
like education was so good there.
Yeah.
And did you, Tyson? Did you go to the Mother's High School?
I didn't. It was a Mother's. I went to the junior high.
I didn't know they had a Mother's High School.
Yeah, Pleasant Grove had a Mother's High School. I don't know.
Oh, of course it did. That makes sense.
Pleasant Grove was famous for teenage pregnancies.
My first kiss.
And it had nothing to do. I'm not the common denominator there.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
My first kiss was a mom at 16. And I probably in my mind was like, could it be mine? Can you get someone pregnant by kissing?
Yeah. You have to Google it. You have to be sure.
I couldn't Google it. I had to consult adults. I'm like, can I transfer my seed through kissing? No. So not mine.
Thank God.
Mel says Tyson is mother and should have gone there. I should have gone to. I wonder if I couldn't have then, but
could you imagine that high school filled with
probably awesome.
moms?
Do they have Father's High School?
No, they didn't have Father's High School.
So, but the
Tyson, I'm
men,
fascinated. I didn't even know this existed, Tyson.
Yeah.
the men who have made these children, are they in your high school or they're also in Mother's high school?
Dude, they're getting high-fived in the hallways at regular high school.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The fathers went to regular high school and the mothers went to Mother's High.
Wow.
I'm assuming. I don't
my
think the
gosh.
moms and the fathers stayed
it's like
together very
Handmaid's
often
Tale.
when they were
Oh,
like,
sure.
so
The girl that I kissed, they got married, which even at 16, I was like, this seems like a bad idea. The guy was my best friend when I was in grade school that got her pregnant. And even I, at my young age, was like, this doesn't make any sense. Both these people are totally incapable
yeah.
of,
So I'm
but
going to kiss
they're
one of
fine
them.
now.
Yeah.
I had kissed her when she was 14.
Oh, before she was a mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
But you know, I was still worried. Like,
yeah,
just
that
2 years ago, am I the father?
yeah. You
Consult the encyclopedia. That's your only option.
and you're
How to make babies.
this is
by
from the
kissing.
father of the kids that didn't know that you can't eat all mushrooms just straight off the ground.
I know. I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I
By the way, let's be very clear. I did not obviously think that a 2-year-old kiss could have gotten her pregnant. I need to make that clear.
but that was there part of you that was like, I could have had a kid had I played
If
my
I had
cards
stuck
right.
with her, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yes.
Stories I'd be able to tell my bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All the dads were twins and went to a different high school. Is
They went
what
to Twins High School.
they went to the twins high school. So, I like that story.
You don't even know where to go, Tyson. I've thrown you into complete disarray.
I don't. That's the thing is none of my segues are making sense, and I'm scanning trying to make a connection here, but I'm not going to make
There's
a
nothing.
connection.
How do you go? Maybe we just call it over. We're done.
Somebody in the chat
Yeah.
said you were crushing the transition.
I know,
so,
but they
you
were
know.
definitely being sarcastic.
You go to this story about pole dancers.
I could, but I'm going to go to this one because Danny loves to hike. And after walking 1,100 miles, there's hikers that try to eat a shit ton of ice cream. And how much is a shit ton? Let me scan the article.
It was a half gallon, I thought.
Oh, I could eat a half gallon without.
I'm not sure. I saw a similar headline. It's funny, probably from a different news outlet, and it was talking about the half gallon challenge. This is interesting.
That's what it is. So could you eat
gallon? Tyson could eat a half gallon after eating 4 bags of popcorn.
Yeah, I could eat a half gallon right now, no problem. So basically, the challenge is do the Appalachian Trail, which is 1,100 miles of hiking, and then eat half a gallon of ice cream. But it looks like it's not that hard. 2,500 calories of ice cream seems easy.
Oh,
that seems extremely
so
easy.
I did in Switzerland a pretty hard run, and I
Okay.
didn't take enough water with me. And when I finished the run, you have to take a steam train down the mountain, right?
Yep.
So I bought a ticket for the steam train. The lady goes, "You are the last ticket." So I walk up to this steam train, which is leaving in 2 minutes. It's full of people.
Wow.
They seat me in this group, and I'm just dripping sweat. Probably smell like an old sweaty man.
Wow.
I sit down with a 1.5 liter of carbonated water, and people side-eyed me as I drank that 1.5 liters of water in probably 5 to 10 minutes.
You just opened the gullet.
I just like a snake devouring a rodent, just like opened it. And I think they were impressed. Nobody came up and patted me on the back later, but I could tell by the way they were watching me drink it that I think they were impressed. 1.5 liters. That's not a small amount of liquid to take in all at once.
Is carbo water? Do you want that after a run?
No, it's the
I
worst.
do. And
I have water.
I have read recently that it does settle the stomach, and I had been dry heaving at the end of my run. So
you dry heave at the end of all your runs.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had dry heaved in front of a group of people, and the looks were they were worth it.
Do you feel like the looks would be different if you had a thing of Ben and Jerry's and
a half gallon
on that? A half gallon?
That actually would have been good. I don't know. I mean, half gallon, that's a lot of dairy to take in when I'm feeling sick, but I bet I could do it. Next time I do a big event, I'm going to try the half gallon challenge.
So this article is saying this half gallon challenge has existed for decades, 4 decades. If you're in that area of the world and you're hiking, then there's conversation about this happening at the end of your hike. So if I was like walking and I see a mediocre amateur, I'm like, Danny from Mediocre Amateur on YouTube. And you're like, yeah, that's right. And I was like, are you doing the ice cream challenge? Like it's commonplace. And it looks like even people here like Cooper, who did this, his trail name is Pie Top. Do we have trail names? Your trail name's Mediocre Amateur. Am I supposed to have a trail name?
Yes, that's not my trail name. That's my YouTube channel.
Well, what indicates a trail name? Do you?
So no, Tyson, don't get it confused. The people who do massive trails like the Continental Divide or the Pacific Crest or the Appalachian,
they have trail names.
No, there is a culture there that you don't quite understand. There are rules and there are ideas and there's events and there's places and things that none of us here can understand. Okay. It's a whole different world.
Okay.
I looked up how many pints are in a gallon because I was wondering how many Ben and Jerry's that would be.
Yeah.
I should know this,
Is
right?
it 8?
I went to high school, but it is 8, Tyson.
Nah, I got it.
So
Brandon was about to say 2.
I was about to say 16 was my actual guess. Just worse.
So 4 pints of ice cream.
Yeah, it seems easy.
I could do that. I should try it.
You should. On your next, just say, I'm doing the ice cream challenge.
Yeah, and I'll just do like a whole day of running,
eat
the ice cream, and then just projectile vomit. I was worried sitting on that train. I was in the middle of so many people with no access to anywhere where I could puke. I did worry if I threw up, it was going to cause a scene.
Guys, these trail names of people are insane in here. So they're referencing someone whose name is Chicken Louise, and then somebody else is Seagull, and then somebody else is Hyena.
Mine's Skeet Dog.
The ice cream challenge record, less than 4 minutes for a half gallon of ice cream.
Oh, well, there's a timing aspect to it.
Was set by Squirt. Trail name Squirt.
Okay.
They all have trail names. Danny, I can't believe you've never heard.
Because I don't do the big trails. This is a big trails thing.
This guy's trail name is not Lazy.
Okay.
I'm just scanning this article now for all the trail names. Lemon Squeezer.
All my big trails are done in Europe because I guess I'm a pretentious person.
Yeah.
I'm a snob. And I don't think I've never heard of the trail names over there in Europe.
All of the trail names were animals up until Squirt. And then I think we deviated from animal names.
Well, I think we know how we got Squirt.
Pie Top isn't an animal.
Pie Top.
There probably is some kind of bird like the Pie Top Wobbler.
Man. So would you be Fast Killer B? Is that what your trail name would be?
I like that as my regular name. I feel like on the trails I want to embody something different.
Well, that could be yours. What if you're super fast?
Yeah.
Speedy. There's already one named Speedy in here.
Speedy's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking the animal motif is interesting.
Yeah. Petroglyph is one.
Petroglyph.
Dude, why? I don't even know. So this is the Associated
Oh, I know what
Press.
mine would be, Tyson.
Why are they just referencing everyone's trail name? Is that like part? They're like, so Danny, what would you? And you're I prefer to go by my trail name.
I keep trying to explain this to you, Tyson. It is a whole culture and vibe. It's like defines who they are.
Yes.
As much as anything else in their life. It's like a big life moment for these people who complete these trails. So I'm sure for years afterwards, this is like their whole identity is based on like the trails that they completed, the people they met along the way. It's a pretty big deal.
So if
like being a twin.
So like, let's say I'm just like, okay, I want to go do one of these big hikes, and I get out there and I come across somebody and they're like,
I think you'd be shocked by the community.
My name's Chris, but I go by Pie Top. And you're like, do I have to call you Pie Top? Yeah, you fucking do. And then we have hobo beans underneath the bridge.
I came up with mine. I think I know exactly what I'd call myself.
Do you get to choose your own trail name?
No, you don't.
That's what I was going to say, is that somebody else chooses it for you on the journey, I fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Danny,
I feel like Danny's would be Pukes.
No, I think Salt Lick.
Because
when I run, I get so much salt dried on the side of my head and near my eyebrows.
From you also get the pukes. So why not pukes? Pukes sounds better than Salt Lick.
How about
I think just
pukey?
pukes.
Pukes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Or
take
the
either of
barfs.
those. I probably wouldn't puke if I was hiking, to be
The
honest.
barfs.
Barfs is
Senor Barf.
Yeah. Senor Barf. Imagine if that were in the article. That would be fun to read.
Senor Barf. I like it. That put a smile on people's faces. That wouldn't
Yeah.
be the worst nickname.
yeah.
I'm done talking about that. Let's talk about the Swedish queen of trash, jailed for dumping thousands of tons of toxic waste, just like the Fletch movie.
How
I
do you
want
have so much
my trail
toxic
name
waste?
is the Swedish Queen of Trash. I like that.
Queen of trash, yeah.
Oh,
So
is she a twin? Swedish twins? Queen of trash? No. I hope so. Oh yeah.
yes. Fariba Vancor, former boss of Think Pink Waste Management Company, convicted of
now it makes
19
sense.
serious environmental crimes. This isn't really a news story. This is just like what you expect people of waste companies to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, dude, forget all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Dig a hole in the forest, chuck all those barrels in, and let's just collect the cash.
Yeah. And then we'll buy the land, bury the toxic waste, and then sell the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the queen of trash for having this waste company.
Is that her trail name, or is that?
Yeah, that's her trail name. Sentenced to 6 years in prison for illegally dumping hundreds of thousands of tons of toxic waste. Are people running over there, rolling around in it, trying to be superheroes?
Also, what kind of toxic waste?
Yeah.
Some countries would consider like 100,000 gallons of Mountain Dew as toxic waste.
Yeah, I think it's just red 40.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, exactly. Like, or is this uranium wastewater? I mean, I need to know what kind of toxic waste.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking through.
Mercury would be a bad one, I guess.
Let me see.
There are a lot of things here that are not toxic that would be considered toxic.
Toxic in Europe, yeah.
Yes.
So it would be interesting to find out what it was.
So this company was mostly hired to dispose of building materials. High levels of toxic PCB compounds, lead, mercury, arsenic, and chemicals.
Those are serious.
Were released into the air, soil, and water, posing a danger to human, animal, and plant life. You know when the plants are dying, that is bad.
Yeah. Plants can take a lot.
Yeah. So,
actually, my backyard would say otherwise, but this lady deserves actually a bigger sentence.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. 6 years, she got off light.
Yeah,
That's no joke.
I think her husband also got in trouble. And they also said that this Think Pink is kind of like a pyramid scheme of waste removal, which I don't even know how that works. It's like sign up 10 friends and we'll get their trash too.
Listen, Gorgaborg, you join underneath me. You pay a small finder's fee, right? And then you get 2 guys, and then they get 2 guys.
Can you name all of these 2 guys from Sweden?
While Bjorgen's paying you, I mean, Bjorgen's getting paid by Snargle and Bargle.
Yeah.
Twins, obviously.
Yeah.
And the thing is, eventually, after we do this, we're taking care of toxic waste, but we're also just making so much money.
Yeah.
And I will be crawling in it. The queen of trash, she's at the head. She's up here. I'm right below her. Me and Targle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, could you imagine that presentation, that PowerPoint? Why wouldn't you jump on board?
Oh my gosh, I'd put all my money into it.
If you fall for a pyramid scheme in general, like not great, but if you fall for the trash pyramid scheme, I think
toxic waste scheme.
That's tough. I think that's hard to dig yourself out of that one.
Yeah, that one is pretty bad.
Yeah.
And what's even worse is that now that these guys are in jail, they can't go to this high schoolers graduation party where the parents hired pole dancers.
I mean, they're athletes.
Yeah.
They're athletes.
I mean, that's skill and athleticism on display. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Bowlers are athletes.
This is the thing, though. So we get this headline. Taiwan parents hire pole dancers to celebrate son's graduation.
That changes everything.
It does change everything. Like maybe this is the customs there. I am not aware.
We don't know. Why are we judging?
Why
what
are we
happens
judging?
in Taiwan?
Like maybe this is every every graduation
Mhm.
party. So
Also, what if it's like pole dancing in traditional Taiwanese pole dancing clothes with like swords and we don't know.
this
We don't
says junior high school.
I love that less, certainly. I think
Is this at the Mother's junior high school or
Yeah, this is at Mother's junior high. Yeah. The
in
surprise
Taiwan?
The surprise performance featured 2 female dancers who initially performed on the street before climbing onto the roofs of 2 sport utility vehicles, where poles had been mounted for an extended routine. The spectacle drew a sizable crowd of shocked students, parents, and passers-by, many of whom were seen filming the incident in disbelief.
You can't put a pole on a Honda Accord. I mean, that's a fact. You need a utility vehicle, an SUV, or a truck.
Yeah.
I don't want to call back to the trail names, but if I was asked my trail name, I would have said Honda Accord. I did have that joke written 5 minutes ago.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy that Honda Accord popped up just now.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a car.
Dependable.
I just couldn't imagine a pole being attached to.
Yeah.
So
rocking.
The boy apparently was unaware of this celebration, but was invited to stand between the 2 performers while they performed, and he was quite embarrassed.
Yeah, you know, this reminds me of Tyson.
What?
Tyson, do you remember when we went to a Greek restaurant and the belly dancer got way too close to me? And you're like, put this in her waistband, and I wouldn't, so you did?
Yeah.
That was me. I'm this young boy.
Yeah.
Was this in the midst of eating?
Yes.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was at a fancy Greek restaurant in Malibu. Is that where we were?
Yeah, we were in Malibu.
And there was a belly dancer, and you just like gave her dollar bills as she danced through the restaurant all evening.
I was leaning far away, but there's nowhere to escape to.
Yeah,
just like
Danny
this young boy, he was between 2 poles in a hard place.
Yeah.
He's just stuck. He has to wait until the routine's over.
This is like when you don't know how to react when somebody like sings happy birthday to you. Like I don't know what his face is during this whole
you try to be cool, or like do you try to focus on your phone? Probably take out your phone and look at it.
The mom.
By the way, that's the new saying, between 2 poles in a hard place. I like that.
So he just got out his phone and was like, I don't know what's going on around me. I'm just
and texted his mom, please help.
His mom was the one who arranged the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, naturally, she wanted him to grow up, finally.
Yeah. She said she wanted to have an unforgettable graduation gift for her son, something he'll never forget. And I assume that's probably it.
Mom.
Once it makes international news, once it hits the Hindustan Times, you know that you've made.
I think his trail name is now Senor 2 Poles.
2 poles, Senor 2 poles,
or just 2 poles. That sounds good.
2 poles is good.
Yeah,
which also works on a trail level because he has hiking poles.
Yes.
Yes, 2 poles might actually be taken by somebody on the trail.
It's probably already. Yeah. Can you get in a fight if you have the same trail name?
Actually,
when did you coin it?
A good Taiwanese name probably translates really well as unforgettable gift.
Yeah.
Unforgettable gift.
That sounds very poetic.
Yeah.
I was going to attempt what it could possibly sound like in Taiwanese, but then I thought that's probably wrong of me to do. So I stopped.
Do it. Don't. Smart. Good.
It's all right if we don't, right?
Yeah.
We can just think about it.
So the police had to show up and disperse the crowd. Probably maced them and tased everybody. And
rubber bullets.
Magic
on your way to work.
Clubs or whatever.
Imagine you're on your way to work, right?
And you're not expecting to get boned.
And then all of a sudden you see 2 Jeep Cherokees pull up with poles on the top. And you're like, what could this be? Is this the new Google streetcar?
Yeah.
And then out come these 2 splendid ladies in full tie pole regalia. And they just start dancing. And you're like, this was just a normal day when I left the house.
Yeah.
And now I'm watching 2 hotties dance on top of Jeep Cherokees in the streets.
And you're just assuming they're hotties. The article doesn't say one way or the other.
Well, I mean, if you're
poor 13-year-old boy.
2 Swedish twins on 2 identical Jeep Cherokees with poles on the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Let me see. We have a couple more articles, but I think that we should just slip into the bolt hole nice and easy here. Danny, do you have a bolt hole for us?
Yeah, let me, I check my inventory.
Can I talk about something really quick before we get to
Yeah,
bullet holes?
I
Oh, for
think you should.
sure. Yeah.
I want to ask you both your opinion on this historical event that I just before we got on here. Netflix is doing a documentary on the balloon boy
Oh,
situation
yeah. Mhm.
from 15 years ago, 20 years ago
When he went up in the balloons.
when he
Yeah.
went up in the
And his
balloon.
parents lied about him going up in the balloon.
Okay.
What do you remember from that situation?
I remember he attached a ton of balloons to a lawn chair, was it? And then he cut off the balloons one at a time to bring himself back down.
No, not this. No, that's not the story. I do remember the parents. I do remember.
Wait, what is the story? Is that the wrong story?
That's
that
the
I'm
wrong
I think it's
story.
like a Disney movie. I don't think
No,
I think
that's
that's
a
up.
true. No, there was a guy who really did the chair
weather
thing,
balloons. It was weather balloons.
but he didn't cut anything. He was never in it.
He was never in it.
He was never in it. I do remember it. It's it's kind of like the white Bronco. There's like bits and pieces of it. I remember casually seeing, like looking over at the news and watching it. And then when I found out it was all a lie, I do remember thinking, yeah, it was.
Oh, so
I
the
kinda thought
parents were
that.
like, "Our son's on those balloons,"
Yeah.
and there was nobody on the balloons.
Yeah, the dad built this like flying saucer.
Yes, it was a
And
flying saucer. I do remember that.
he called 911 and was like, "Oh, my son's in the flying saucer. It's careening through the sky. It crashes. The police go to look for it. The kid's not in there. The kid is in the attic of their house, I believe."
Dang.
And then they get interviewed on Good Morning America, and the kid is like 6. He's like, "I thought we did it to be on this show. I thought it was a plan." Like he accidentally said it on live
Wow.
TV.
And the
Wow.
family had, if I remember correctly, an interesting backstory of failed, probably toxic waste pyramid schemes and such.
Yes.
So they were in that kind of like the circles of people who operate those types of businesses.
They were in a
and deals.
perfect position to start a religion.
Yeah, if the UFO thing had worked, then obviously you say your kid had been and met with aliens and he'd received a message and they were there to share the message exclusively for a small finder's fee.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat, Tyson, is pointing out that you were actually you were filming Survivor Token Sheets.
Oh, because I literally, this does not ring a bell for me. I do remember that I thought there was a man who attached himself to lawn chairs.
Yeah, there was. And he shot him down with BB guns.
Yes, that's right.
I've never heard of that. That's also, I want a Netflix documentary on that.
Yeah,
it will be.
We
I'm
do.
absolutely certain. So
yeah, they're going to run out of shit soon and they'll have to cover it.
Yeah, they're already doing Balloon Boy.
Yeah.
But I don't want to detract from Danny's bolt hole.
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have music. So what do we just sit in silence?
Yeah. So we just take a pause for half a second here. Or on 1, 2, 3, pause. Unpause.
And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I came across a fascinating fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to, some facts are so fascinating. I don't even want to find out it's not true.
Okay.
But they're saying students and these people, probably the students now, they're talking about the generation right now, Alpha, the end of Generation Z. These people are expected to have spent, should they live to 72 years old, 25 years of their lives on their phones.
Easy. I've already done
25 years.
Yeah.
So Tyson, we had all our early years. We didn't do that.
Yeah, I would have had to spend every waking hour on my phone from when smartphones were invented to even get close to that.
So here's the reason this doesn't irritate me, right? I'm sure if we go back to when TV very first came out, or even when it wasn't very first out, I would guess that a lot of people have spent that many years of their lives just watching TV. It comes out to
games.
Yeah, it comes out to like 5 hours or something like that, 5 to 8 hours, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
If you come home from work and you turn on the TV and you don't turn it off until you go to bed, that's around 5 to 6 hours if it's just like, bam, it's on. That's not including Saturdays and Sundays. So while this is startling, at the same time, I don't think it's surprising.
Michael Horn says, I've probably spent 25 years on my phone just today.
And by the way, the people who lived before phones and TVs, they would have preferred to spend 25 years looking at those rather than staring at the ceiling in the dark or looking at a candle burn.
Yeah.
I mean, again, what's the outcome of that much exposure? I don't really know. But at the same time, it's not as shocking as I think they want you to feel it is.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
it's
not going
okay,
to
Brandon.
criticize.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
interesting? When somebody asks like what your hobbies are, like what do you like to do? Like I
Yeah.
like to be on my phone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But that's not an acceptable hobby to tell somebody you like to do. And
I
it
think
should be, you know?
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, it'd be better if it was something creative and productive, but at the same time, people have been just killing time until they actually die,
Yeah.
since the beginning of man. I mean, this isn't anything new. If it wasn't this, it was TV. If it wasn't TV, it was like sitting by the radio.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the radio, it was watching, I don't know, the fire go down.
I'll ask my gastroenterologist if he's still here, what they did back in the day, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know what that looks like. Yeah, listen, there's nothing better than the phone. I love the phone, you know?
Plus, what are you going to do when you're between two pole dancers? I mean, the phone is an escape that works in so many situations.
Yeah.
And guess what? Normally, in those situations, sure, maybe you were one of the 1% that read a book, but the rest of the time,
But
most
even
of
then,
us,
when books were invented, like as soon as the Bible got translated, they're like, this motherfucker spends 8 hours a day on the Bible.
yeah, meanwhile, the kids on the phone are consuming all of the world's information,
Yeah.
you know, not just one book, but consuming everything, both
Yeah.
true and false, endlessly.
And there's no data to know if all the kids on their phone today are not reading the Bible on their phone. And they could be.
Yeah, they could be.
They could all be on
I'm pretty sure most of them are reading some religious text.
Bible.com.
Sure. Bible.com.
We don't know. Again, I see these headlines and I see all these criticisms of the younger generations. And I think this is just repackaged from what older people were saying about us or what older people were saying about the boomers. It's like, it's not really that shocking.
Yeah.
People are finding a way to kill time.
Since the dawn
Big
of time.
surprise. Yes, since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it could be anything else. It's like, well, you
Like,
spend
monkeys spend 8 hours a day picking each other's hair
and masturbating.
and throwing poop. It's like even the primates are finding ways to kill time.
Yeah, everybody that has any like dolphins are experimenting sexually.
Poking each other's blowholes 8 hours a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's there's always ways to kill time, and the phones are a great way to kill time and get out of uncomfortable situations because you can just like look at your screen and tune out and not have to look anybody in the eye.
Yeah.
And that's
when a guy's standing over you with his genitals on your armrest, you can be like, I can escape to my phone.
Yes.
And you did. That's what you were doing in that time.
That's exactly what I did. I will say this is my only criticism of the phone thing. Is that in a lot of those other activities, you were conversing with people in the real world. And by real world, I mean in your immediate vicinity. So that is the one thing gets lost in maybe 24 years or 5 years of phone time. And to me, that is something. I don't know what the repercussions are, but it does feel like it's something.
Yeah. Maybe. I think just socially, kids.
I mean, 25 years of book reading, you're not talking to anyone. So I guess that's the same.
But the thing is too, I'm always pleasantly surprised. Not always, but usually pleasantly surprised by kids as I'm having conversations. Like if you like meet like my friends' kids and you're like, hey, how's it going? And they're like super friendly and stuff. I'm like, oh, I thought you guys only stared at your phones. And you didn't know how to have conversations. They're like, no, we can do both.
Yeah. You should always be careful of any criticism of a younger generation. It's always kind of blown out.
Yeah, because that's when you're going to get accused of having old man stink.
Oh, yeah. Old man smells when you're like, of course, those little crap heads. They're like the worst.
Little crap heads? That's what we call them.
I was going to use a swear word, but that's not my style on this podcast.
Not on this podcast. He's a secret cursor.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, cursor. But yeah,
private
cursor.
in the privacy
a private cursor. Yeah. But yeah, that's when you begin to have old man smell. When you start saying like, the younger generation.
Back in my day.
Back in my day.
Yes, back in our day. All
right.
That's it. Well, what's coming up for you, Danny? You got any more adventures scheduled?
I'm hesitant to schedule any
because of the flight thing. Oh, Liz is upset?
Well, yeah. I didn't go to her high school reunion because I was in Europe. It was a very sensitive subject.
Oh, okay.
So
I'd rather be in Europe and do the reunion.
Absolutely.
It was her reunion?
It was her reunion.
Yeah, but she wanted to show you off, dude, and be like, look, he has big old balls.
Look at his quads.
Yeah,
Why don't
look
you
at
just
his
say
quads.
quads, dude?
Yeah.
Keep it PG-13. Just be, look at this guy's quads.
Yeah, that's true. Have you met her graduating class before?
No,
You've
this was
never
her
been to a high school
20-year
reunion?
reunion.
I went to
So,
a reunion with Rachel, and I didn't want to be there.
but you had your phone, probably.
No, I think it was before that. I think I
Oh,
went to, like, her
yeah.
10-year reunion.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I just had my 10-year reunion the other day,
And
Oh, congratulations.
and I brought my phone.
I
Excellent.
haven't been to a high school reunion yet of my
I went to
own.
mine because they had me talk, actually.
They did? When was this?
Yeah, my 20-year. So,
Wow,
What
what
did you
did you
say?
talk on?
I only remember one line from it.
And?
I told him a story about my oldest, who at the time was pretty young, and I asked him, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I've told this joke on this podcast many
Yeah.
years ago, and I said, he said, "Oh, I want to do what you do," and I said, "I won't make enough money for you to do what I do."
Yeah, that's good.
That was the only
That's
thing I
good.
remember from that time. It was
Yeah.
my good joke. But
Did
yeah, so
everybody laugh?
yeah, I got some chuckles out of that.
But why did you? Did they have like?
Yeah,
Why did you get picked to speak?
Yes, that's
So
awesome.
they had like 5 different people speak.
But
and
why
by the-
you? Were they fans of your YouTube channel?
Yeah,
Like,
I think they had heard I had a YouTube channel, which back then was pretty cool and original. Now it doesn't matter, but
yeah. Okay.
speaking of which, that's also something I'll be doing. I have tons of video footage, so I'll be putting out some episodes.
Okay. Well,
And yeah,
Danny, you're 97, right? Graduating class of 97.
97, 97, 90, 90, 97.
97. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
97 as well. So that means in 2 years we have our 30-year
The
coming
goal
up.
is just to look good, right?
Yeah,
Like, all
well,
that
we have
matters.
all our hair.
Yeah.
We're pretty slender. We're already the top 1%.
But the old man smell, you better start eating those mushrooms.
I'm just gonna axe up.
Oh yeah, axe hard.
Yeah.
So what do you have
axe
coming up,
up.
Tyson?
I am going to Texas this week for Junior Olympics for synchronized swimming.
Oh, that's cool.
Bergen's competing there.
That actually sounds
Bergen's birthday
interesting.
is tomorrow, so we got a birthday party going on, and then that's it.
Oh,
So,
that's neat.
but it is a lot of stuff. I'm gonna get my tennis racket strung. I haven't played tennis in 30 years, and I hit a ball the other day. I was like, "This is kind of
Threw
fun."
your
So
arm out.
no, so I'm gonna start playing a little tennis. Brandon, what do you have coming up, dude?
I want to ask you a question about tennis rackets. Put a pin in that.
Okay.
But listen to the Survivor 50 Files. It's every day on Rob as a podcast. I talked to, as this was happening, I was talking to Kelly Wentworth, which is great.
Yeah.
I talked to this week. I talked to Kellen about Chrissy Hofbeck. I talked to
Dude, you're busy.
Gabby Pascuzzi about Christian Hubicki. I talked to Alec Merlino about Angelina and Mike. So you have a great couple things happening.
Yeah, you haven't talked to me about anybody.
We gotta put a pin in that because I have an idea that you're involved in.
Nice.
We'll see. We'll see if I like it.
I see TikToks about tennis rackets where you're supposed to like clip one of the
I think
strings.
that's a fake thing.
Is that a fake thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
because people are
TikTok
clipping
is-
all the strings and being like, "There you go," and you're like, "No, I don't think that's real."
I wouldn't buy anything that I would immediately feel like I was destroying, and that's what that feels like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I don't know what is happening with that, but I'm not going to clip any tennis strings. I'm just going to let them put the strings on and then play with it like that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, nice.
Hell
Old
yeah.
school.
Okay, well, that'll do for this week. Thanks all for tuning in. Hell Klarna. We did it, guys.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.